I'm in the building. I'm in the building, ladies and gentlemen. You know what we're here to talk about tonight? She don't listen, I ain't tripping, she don't follow. Got another wetty swerving on her potholes. Got another thought, he thinks she hit the lotto. She pop a perky, then she chase it with Moscato. This bitch is bad, she fucking all the drug dealers. Ow! Bitch, and then I took a plug, nigga. Ow! I'm getting to the bag, nigga. Bust in your house, I'm running through your stash, nigga. We in the building, y'all. Flashing all that cash, nigga. Part in my back, I'm counting all these stacks, nigga. Gucci duffel Louis on my ass, nigga. Hennessy and TNT, we blast, nigga. Ferragamo on my dress, I'm looking right, baby. She wanna think I'm only out here for the night, baby. I'm Puerto Rico, Casamigos with the Sprite, baby. She wanna fuck with the scammers, talk to me nice, baby. She hit the bottle and the oldest wobble wobble. This thought he fucking for a fight, the cobble wobble. African swing, he spin, hit the throttle. She wanna fuck with the gangsters, talk to me nice, baby. This whole insect, she fucking on the damn crew. Coming out of suck, she lost her damn. Turn up in there, turn up in there. I am in the building. I am in the building. Smoking gelato in the Tahoe, smell the fucking jar. She wanna ride with me cause we look like some movie stars. This thotty moving faster than a speeding car. Coming through the door with no panties on. Popping mollies and you know she took a Zanny bar. Talking about a Mazda is a family car. I hit her with a curve, then the coup de grace. Zillow games, I'm shaking up the dice, baby. She wanna stay with me so we can make the night, baby. She wanna be with me so I can lay the pipe, baby. I'm only out here for the night, baby. I'm only out here for the night, baby. Ferragamo on my dress, I'm looking right, baby. She wanna think I'm only out here for the night, baby. I'm Puerto Rico, Casamigos with the Sprite, baby. She wanna fuck with the scammers, talk to me nice, baby. She hit the bottle and the oldest wobble wobble. Wobble wobble. Fucking for a fight, the cobble wobble. Cobble wobble. Swing, spin, hit the throttle. Hit the throttle. Fuck with the gangsters, talk to me nice, baby. Welcome to the Check-In Report, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, True and Living. This is the Check-In Report. I'm not your homie. I'm the one and only Macaroni. Welcome to the Check-In Report, y'all. I see we got a couple people in the building already. Salute to Prep Lock. Salute to Prep Lock. He says he here. Yes. I am in the building. Let me get everything queued up. Hold on. Let me get everything queued up. We got a lot to get to tonight. Donald J. Trump talks to the National Black Journalists Association. He sat down with some black women. They sound like Democratic left-wing attack dogs to me. If you're just asking me, they sound like Democratic bootlicking attack dogs to me. Does anybody know any of these women? Can anyone vouch for these women? They sound like bootlicking liberal left-wing attack dogs. You know, there was a few black women in the crowd that were supporting Donald J. Trump. You know, that's something Kamala Harris should be worried about. You should be worried about it. Prep Lock says it didn't go well. I agree. I think Trump looked pretty good. Trump looked pretty good. They tried to like, to get him off of his rocker. They tried to, especially in the beginning of the interview, they tried to like, come in really aggressive. They came in real hot, and he picked up on the vibes early. Like, he was like, yo, like I'm coming here. You guys show up. You guys show up late. He should have said you showed up on CP time. None of the equipment was ready. Yeah, you had me waiting for 35 minutes. He went in on them. He went on to attack Kamala Harris's race. Is she black? Is she Indian? We don't know. What is she? Is Kamala Harris black? She's one.
1 week she's black, another week she's Indian. Next week she'll be Chinese. The next week she'll be Guatemalan. We don't know what this woman is. She changes her race like she changes, hairstyles, But listen, Donald Trump, he held his ground. I'm gonna be honest, I have to give him his credit. He did hold his ground in this interview. He did hold his ground. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna talk about it. I want you guys to entertain the voting though. Entertain the voting. Who are you voting for? We got 7 votes already. Um, either vote for Felon Trump or vote for Kamala Bareback Harris. Right now, people are voting for Kamala Bareback Harris. Yeah, let me know who you're voting for. Who are you swaying towards? Who are you ultimately riding with? Get those likes up as well. Get those likes up, y'all.
What a thrill.
Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. We're about to get into the interview.
Darkness and silence through the night.
A lot of y'all in the darkness looking for the like button. Hit that like button.
What a thrill.
It's a thrill to be here with you, but hit that like button, all right? Put some respect on that like button. Salute to everybody that's in the building right now. Yeah, but I gotta say, Trump, he did pretty good. He kind of cooked them. They tried to get him off of his game. They tried him, but he kind of took the W with that whole sit down. But I do want to discuss this. I want to discuss this. Don't y'all find it insulting that Kamala Harris, she damn near had a freaknik at her campaign trail. Meg the Stallion shaking her little doodle maker. Quavo up there looking like a stumbling, bumbling idiot. It was damn near Freaknik 97 in Atlanta at the Kamala Harris rally. And at least you got to give some respect to Trump. Trump, at least, he sat down with these black women from the National Black Journalists Association and gave them and conducted a respectful interview, in my opinion. He respected these women, and he respected the National Black Association of Journalists. He respected them enough to sit down and talk to them and talk about whatever they wanted to talk about. Kamala Harris isn't even willing to do that. When will Kamala Harris sit down with black women and talk about issues that are directly affecting black women? I would like to see that. I would like to see that. But in any event, shall we get to the interview? We have to get to the interview. We have to talk about this whole debacle here. Donald J. Trump sitting down with the National Association of Black Journalists. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to keep it a hundo. Never heard of this. Never heard of it. Never heard of it. Never heard of the National Association for what is it? National Association of Black Journalists. Never heard of it. But respect to the National, Association of Black Journalists. Respect to them. I respect that Donald Trump, decided to sit down with these women and conduct an interview and talk about, whatever they wanted to talk about. I don't know if he requested, some issues to talk about, but in any event, let's get into it, y'all. Let's get into it.
As journalists, we use opportunities like these both to inform our reporting, but also to help voters understand the choices that they face in a consequential and historic election year. NABJ has partnered with PolitiFact to fact-check this conversation in real time. You can access that feed on social media. using the hashtag NABJFactCheck. Again, the hashtag is NABJFactCheck. We have a lot to get to, and we do not want to waste any time, so let's bring out...
Now, keep in mind, they had Donald Trump waiting for 35 minutes. 35 minutes to conduct this interview. They conducted this interview in CP time. If you don't know what that is, that's colored people time. Had Donald Trump waiting. He called it out. Respect to Donald Trump for calling it out. He had to call it out. He had to call it out. But let's get back into it. Let's get back into it.
The former president of the United States, the Republican nominee for president, former President Donald Trump.
What is this music I'm hearing? What is this boom bap 90s boom bap beat I am hearing? What is this? Is this the National Association for Black Journalists, or is this the Source Awards? What is this boom bap beat I'm hearing that you're having this having Donald Trump come out to? What is this? What is this? What is this? What is this beat? Like, what is this beat? What is this beat? Let's get back into it though. I feel like breakdancing.
Thank you. Mr. President, we so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the
Let's get into it.
elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have put...
Now, let me just talk about that. Why was it not appropriate to have a presidential candidate be there? And it goes into what I'm talking about, what I talked about earlier. There's a lot of Democratic, left-wing, liberal bootlicker attack dogs where they try to stop every single thing. It's like, no, we don't want him here. We don't want him to sit with us. We don't want him to talk to us. This man is running for the president of the United States. I think that we should be able to talk to him if we're going to go to a voting poll and we're going to decide who we want to vote for. We should be able to hear both parties, stances, what they believe in, how they're feeling. We should be able to talk to these people that, people are going out there. Kamala Harris didn't even have the respect to show up to this interview. We're going to get into that later. And Donald Trump, he calls that out. But you're going to realize very early that it was a couple of, Democratic left-wing liberal bootlicking attack dogs that conducted this interview. Let's get into it. Let's get back into it.
Push false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen...
Barack Obama was born in Hawaii. Possibly Kenya. Let's get... I'll be back, though.
Women of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Let me stop right here. You notice how she came in hot, right? She came in real hot. First of all, she asked a loaded question. That's a loaded question. If Kamala Harris, if Joe Biden, if Joe Biden came up there, if Kamala Harris showed up there, they wouldn't have been giving them a loaded question. But see, they was trying to get him off his rocker. by asking him a loaded, convoluted question. And he called it out. He understood. He understood the energy in the room. The energy in the room, not in the room, but the energy from the moderators. The energy from the moderators was very aggressive out the gate. Out the gate. And he handled it in excellent fashion. I have to give him his props on it. Let's continue. Let's see what he said. Let's see what he said.
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question in such a horrible manner. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country. Including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs. I've done so much, and and I say this, historically black colleges and universities were out of money. They were stone cold broke, and I say...
Now listen. This is a room full of bourgeoisie, Kappa, alphas. A lot of these women on stage, they're sorority women. Now that's a cap in his hat. That's a cap in his hat. That's a feather in his hat. He did give money to the sorority, the black sorority. I'm not black sorority, but the black colleges, the HBCUs. He had to pull that out. What has Joe Biden done recently? What has Kamala Harris done recently? He's laying out his resume. Listen, he laid out his resume. Let's continue. I'm not saying I agree with it, but I'm just hearing them out. I'm hearing them out.
And I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here, and I was told my opponent whether...
We know why they did it, because these are what I call Democratic, liberal, bootlicking attack dogs. If Joe Biden showed up, if Kamala Harris showed up, they would be giving them absolute respect. They wouldn't be giving them convoluted, loaded questions. But these women have been paid. These women have been compromised. These women are probably working for the political left. They want to try to stump Trump, have him say something off-kiltered. And these are the left wing, listen, these are the left wing liberal bootlicking attack dogs that the Democrats have selected to conduct this interview. Shall we continue? Let's continue.
Whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent wasn't here. You invited me under false pretense. You said you can't do it with Zoom. Well,
now hold on. Why wasn't Kamala Harris there? Why wasn't Kamala Harris there? Kamala Harris, I know you was on stage with Meg Thee Stallion twerking. Y'all was twerking. Body, yaddy, 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 yaddy.
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
Body, yaddy, 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 yaddy. You was on stage with Meg Thee Stallion twerking. Body, yaddy, yaddy. I'm a savage. I don't know the words. But you was on stage with Meg Thee Stallion shaking your doodle maker, but you couldn't sit down with these black women and Donald Trump and the National Association for Black Journalists and conduct a respectable interview and debate your candidate retort and rebuttal your candidate, have a civil discussion, talk with these black women, talk about the issues dealing with the black community. You settled for just having Meg the Stallion shake a little doodoo maker, body yada 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 yada. You settled on that. At least you got to give Trump the respect to say at least he sat down with these women and is now conducting this interview. But let's continue.
Where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom, and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late, just so we understand.
They showed up on CP time. This left-wing, liberal, bootlicking, this left-wing, bootlicking interviewer, they showed up on CP time. 35 minutes late, wasting Donald Trump time. He was ready to go. They trying to get the equipment together. They running around the place. You know what I mean? The one interviewer still getting her hair done. The other interviewer still got a bonnet on her head. I'm ready to conduct the interview. What's happening here? Y'all got me on CP time. I gotta go. I got limited time here. And then I get on stage and you come clapping at me with this, fiery sister girl attitude. With this fiery sister girl attitude. Asking me this convoluted, loaded ass question. She asked like 10 questions in one question. Let's continue.
Too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working or something.
Mr. President, I would love
think
if
it's
you
a
can answer
very.
He called them out for starting on CP time. They was conducting this interview on CP time.
Very nasty question. I have answered the question. I have been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln.
Hold on, Whitey. See, I was rolling with you, Trump, until you said that, Whitey. Hold on, Whitey. This man said, I am the best president since Abraham Lincoln for the blacks. This is a circus. This is a circus, ladies and gentlemen. He sounds absolutely crazy when he said that. He kind of lost me with that one. I ain't gonna lie. He kind of lost me with that one. Like, in my opinion, black people have never had a good president. Every single president has used black people. We have never had a good president, including Abraham Lincoln. She's going to mention Lyndon B. Johnson. We were used by every single U.S. president. Black people have never had a good president that was for us. That would be my answer. But let's continue with this interview.
That's my answer.
Better than President Johnson, who signed the Voting Rights Act?
And for you to start off a question and answer period, especially when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work, in such a hostile manner, I think it's a disgrace. Let me
just ask a follow-up, sir, and then we'll move.
Yeah, listen, man. They conducting interviews on CP time. Like, what's wrong with y'all? Let's go. I'm running for president of the United States. I got places to go. I got hands to shake, babies to kiss. I don't got time. I don't got time for y'all conducting this interview on CP time. We got one interviewer, she still got the hot comb in her head. The other interviewer still got a bonnet on her head. The third interviewer, she texting some nigga, from that's in jail. I gotta go. I got things to do. I'm running for president here.
Move on to other questions here. Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first Black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major.
This is where he roasted Kamala Harris. You know, or AKA Kamala Harris, Bareback Harris. Kamala Bareback Harris. That's what we're calling her tonight. Let me know who you're voting for, Kamala Bareback Harris, or are you voting for felon Trump? Let me know. Let me know in that voting section. Make sure you hit the like button. Let's continue.
Your party ticket as a
we got a lot to get to.
hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead.
How do you define it? How do you define it? Because you're throwing this verbiage around, you're throwing these three letters around, DHI, whatever it is. I don't know that. What is that? What is that? What is that? Define it for me. Define it. What is it?
How do you define
diversity, equity, inclusion?
Okay.
Diversity, equity, inclusion? Never heard of it. I've never heard of that. I've never heard that. Let's continue though.
Go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
give me a
literally
definition
the words
then. Would you give me a definition
DEI.
of that? Give me a definition.
What is the definition of that? You told me what it is, but what's the definition of that? What are you trying to insinuate with that? Let's continue.
Sir, I'm asking you a question, a very direct question.
Define it for me, if you would.
I just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a Black woman?
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe a little bit different. So, I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly, very much, and she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was Black.
That's crazy, Trump, because I've been saying the same. I didn't know this woman was Black either.
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No.
I didn't know this woman was Black either.
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No.
When did Kamala Harris be Black? I thought she was an Indian woman.
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No.
I thought she was a multiculturalist woman.
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No.
Oh, she's Black now because it's election season. Oh.
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No.
Oh, she's Black now because it's election season. Now she cooks greens in the bathtub.
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No.
Oh, she's Black now. Oh, she cooks greens in the bathtub. She keeps hot sauce in her purse because it's election season. Oh.
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to
Got you. I agree with Trump. He kind of cooked them on this one. I'm not going to lie. He kind of cooked them on this one. On this one, he kind of cooked them. On this one. I'm not going to lie.
Until a number of years ago when she happened to turn Black, and now she wants to be known as Black. So I don't know, is she Indian?
What does she want to be? Is she Black?
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No.
Is she Indian?
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No.
I don't know not one Black person. Listen, I've been Black for 34 years. Hear me clearly. I've been Black for 34 years. I don't know nobody Black that cooks greens in the bathtub. That woman is not Black. In my 34 years of Blackness, I have never heard a Black person cooking greens in the bathtub.
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No.
Shall we continue? Let's continue. Let's continue.
Or is she black?
She has always
But you know
identified
what?
as a black
I
woman. She went
respect.
to-
No, she has not. That is an absolute lie. There are articles that, you know, are congratulating her. The first Indian woman senator. The first Indian woman prosecutor. I've pulled up articles that have talked about Kamala Harris, and they have expressed her as an Indian woman, not as a so-called black woman. She's only black during election season. That's the only time she's black, election season. Any other time of the year, she's a multiculturalist. She's an Indian woman. She's of mixed race ethnicity.
I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit black people. No.
But now, oh, she's a black woman during election season. Please, I've heard it all. I've heard it all. I don't want to hear it no more. This is not a black woman. Let's continue.
Historically
Either
black
one.
college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do
And
you
I
believe
think,
that
I think
she's
somebody should look into that too when you ask.
Yeah. We need to look into that, Kamala. We need to look into your blackness, because I don't think you're black. I don't think you've ever identified as a black woman. You know, a lot of these liberal bootlicking Democratic supporters that are conducting this interview, they want to call you a black woman. I disagree. I don't think you're a black woman. You keep clinging on to your father being Jamaican. There are different types of Jamaicans. There's Chinese Jamaican. There's Indian Jamaican. There's different types of Jamaicans. You know, you keep clinging on to that, saying that you're black, and you're clearly not foundational black. You are not a foundational black American, or you don't come from a foundational black heritage. And in the pictures that I see you dressed up as an Indian woman. I don't see you dressed up with an afro here. I don't see no. Have y'all seen pictures with Kamala Harris with an afro, with an afro picked out, holding up that Black Power fist? Maybe she got any? Does she have any pictures with a dashiki on? Does she have any pictures with her hair permed out? Does she have any pictures with a hot comb through her hair? I don't think so. So I don't think she's a black woman. I think that this is a woman who has identified with her Indian side of her family her whole life. But now she's selectively black when it's election season. We only see her during election season. We don't ever see her at any other time. Let's continue, though.
You in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some
I
Republicans
really
have
don't
said?
know. I mean, I really don't know. Could be. There are some, and there are plenty. I know this lady right over there, Harris, is a fantastic person who just interviewed me at length, and we had a great interview, I think, and I heard you got very good ratings on that
Well,
interview.
you told me it was the longest one of your life, so we had a good discussion. Look, I want to talk about why you're here today. I mean, it is not...
Yeah. Why is Trump here today? And a lot of people aren't going to give, Trump respect. I'm going to give Trump a little bit respect here. Just a little bit. Listen, I don't rock with neither candidate, but I'm going to give him a little respect based off the premise of he's sitting down having an interview. He's sitting down talking to black women of the National Association of Black Journalists. What Kamala Harris did was absolutely despicable, was absolutely disgusting. She had Meg Thee Stallion get on stage, shake that little doo-doo maker. She might as well have been up there with a G-string on. And did not talk directly to the black populace in the building. Did not talk to the hearts and the souls and the minds of the black women in there. And the issues that are directly affecting them. I have to give Trump a little bit of respect because he's sitting down with these women. He's already in a hostile environment with these liberal bootlicking, attack dogs that he's conducting this interview with. So at least he's showing that he's willing to sit down and talk with these people, right? Let's continue though.
Lost on us how divided we are as a country. And as you were coming today, we really got to see that we are divided along the lines of race, along the lines
We got 300 people in the building. We got 300 people in the building. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. All right, let's continue. Let's continue.
And there is this question of, in this moment where we are, why come here? What is your message today?
My message is to stop people from invading our country that are taking, frankly, a lot of problems with it. But one of the big problems, and a lot of the journalists in this room I know and I have great respect for, a lot of the journalists in this room are black. I will tell you that coming from the border are millions and millions of people that happen to be taking black jobs.
Let's deal with that for an issue. Let's deal with that. Let's deal with the black issue. Let's deal with that. Because a lot of people have an issue with that whole black job thing. Black job. What is a black job? Like, let's keep it real here. Immigration is hurting the black voting populace. It's hurting the black vote. Black people only make up 13% of the United States. Immigration is suppressing and hurting the black vote. And I'm going to tell you directly how they're taking black jobs. Let's listen up closely. Do you know that in certain sanctuary cities, they are giving immigrants state jobs? They're giving immigrants state jobs. State jobs that black people have been trying to get for years. State jobs that they have been telling qualified black people, we're going to put you on a waiting list. Oh, we have no availability right now. Civil jobs in government, jobs in our state system. They turned black people away for years. They are now telling immigrants that they could have these state jobs. They are telling immigrants that they can have these state jobs. They're telling immigrants that they can have these positions. So if we're going to really talk about black jobs, yes, immigrants are taking black jobs. You know, people are thinking very very small-minded. They think that, Donald Trump is talking about, somebody selling oranges on the side of the road. Somebody detailing your car. Somebody flipping a burger in McDonald's. Stop thinking so small-minded. Stop being a mental midget. Stop thinking so small-minded. No. Immigrants are taking state jobs as well. They are giving immigrants state jobs in certain sanctuary cities as I speak. Jobs in law enforcement. Jobs in our state. That they have been turning black people away for years. So these are the black jobs that they are taking from black people. Let's just be honest about it here. Let's just talk about it really here. And we got a lot of people in the building. I'm only entertaining donations. So, I don't care what anybody has to say. If you ain't donating to the channel, I don't care what you're talking about. We got enough people in here. Donate to the channel. And I'm not entertaining, I'm sure we got a lot of Kamala sexuals in the building. I'm sure of it. I'm sure we got a lot of Kamala sexuals in the building that ain't liking what I'm saying. I'm sure. Continue to be butthurt, all right? And keep voting. Let's continue, though.
At the best.
What exactly is a black job, sir?
A black job is anybody that has a job. That's what it is.
There you go. And he specified it. The man specified it, but you're still going to be mad about it. He let it be known a black job is any job. It's a job in America. It's any job. A black job is any job. It's a job that's in America. They are taking jobs in America. People were thinking so short-sighted. They thought that Trump was talking about flipping burgers, somebody washing your car at the car wash. No, just any types of jobs, state jobs, jobs in our nation's capital. Jobs that black people have been wanting to get, jobs that black people are qualified to get, but they've been turned away. They are now giving them to the immigrants. They are now giving them to people that are not even naturalized citizens to this country. That's what's happening in a lot of sanctuary cities as we speak. So he specified it, but people are still going to be mad about his answer. They're still going to be mad. Let's continue, though.
Is anybody that has a job.
All right.
And
Mr. President,
they're
can
taking the employment away from black people. They're coming in and they're coming
Somebody just said it. Construction is a black job. That's a fact. Construction is a black job. Guess what else is a black job? A meter maid. That's a black job. You know what else is a black job? A mechanic. These are all blue collar jobs that immigrants are taking. And I talked about the state jobs. They're giving immigrants state jobs. These are not people, these are not naturalized citizens. They don't belong to this country, but this government is setting them up and giving them state jobs. That's a problem. And yes, they are taking black jobs. Let's get back into it, though.
They're invading. It's an invasion of millions of people, probably 15, 16, 17.
And we need to talk about how immigration is suppressing the black vote. It's making the black vote minuscule. Black people only make up 13% of the United States. Immigration is suppressing our vote. It's suppressing our thoughts. It's suppressing our agendas. It's suppressing, what we're dealing with and what we're feeling. It's suppressing our voices. Let's continue.
17 million people. I have a feeling it's much more than that. And everybody's been seeing what's happened. The first group of people, the black population, is affected most by that, and Kamala is allowing it to happen. She's the border czar. She's the worst border czar in the history of the world. There's never been a border czar like this. She's never even essentially been. She said she was there once, but...
That's a fact. She said she never went to the border. Never went to the damn border. Are you kidding me? In your 3.5 years, you never went to the border?
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
In your 3.5 years, you never went to the border. She sounded absolutely crazy when she said that. Absolutely crazy when she said that. You've never been to the border? You've never been up to the border, woman? Are you crazy? Are you mad? You're just letting everyone into this country. It's like a wide open gate. You're just letting everyone in this country. You've never been to the border to see what's going on there, what's happening there, how secure it is. You've never done the work, Kamala. You've just been pushing pencils. Let's continue.
Not the right part of the border. So she was a border czar. She's done a horrible job. These people are coming into our country, and they're taking black jobs and Hispanic jobs, and frankly, they're taking union jobs. Unions are being very badly...
That's another... He brought up a great point. They're taking union jobs. They're taking state jobs. They're taking jobs from people that are citizens. That's a fact. That's a fact. When is America going to take care of America? When is America going to take care of its citizens? When is America going to take care of its veterans, its homeless? The people that are naturalized citizens, the black citizens of America who have built this country, who have been here 20, 30, 40 generations deep, that have fought in all the world wars, fought in all your foreign wars, paid taxes for generations, that went through slavery. All of those black people, you spit in the face in those people when you let all these people, when you let all these immigrants in and you put them up in fancy hotels, give them credit cards. Absolutely deplorable. Let's continue, though. Let's continue.
Affected by all of the millions of people that are pouring into our country. And one thing, as we discussed, many of these people are coming in from mental institutions, from prisons, from jails. They're gang members in other countries.
And I agree with that as well, because we don't know who we're letting in. Let's be real. And Joe Biden has been lying. He's been lying. They have been letting in gang members. I live in New York. I don't live in New York City, but I live in New York. I live in Long Island, New York. The Venezuelan gangs in New York are running the city right now. They're shooting at police officers. They're stabbing people. Some people are being kidnapped. The Venezuelan gangs out in New York are running the city right now. We're taking in their problems. We're taking in their criminals. We're taking in the bad people from these people's countries. But Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, they're not going to talk about that. They're not going to, really give the spill on that. But we're taking in their criminals. We're taking in their gangs. That's a fact. That is happening.
Other countries are setting loose their prisoners. They're opening up their prisons and their mental institutions, and they're taking their bad people.
Somebody says I live in New York. You're absolutely lying. I want anybody in here right now to look up Venezuelan gangs, New York City. Since this person thinks I'm lying, look up Venezuelan gangs, New York City, and you're going to see stories of them shooting at police officers. One man in particular said, "We shoot at police officers because it's normal where we're from." Verbatim, he said that. He said, it's normal in our country to shoot at police officers. Since this person is lying, look it up. Venezuelan gangs, New York City. Let's see how much of a liar I am. My name Jill says, I hope you can find a career you actually have a passion for. Stop the race rage. Thank you for the $5. Where's the race? Where's the race rage? Look, I think a lot of you come into this show, you don't know a damn thing about me. You hear a black man that has an opinion, and you ultimately think he's race baiting, he's this, he's that. He's just talking. When it's a lily white girl up here and she's telling you her opinions, or if it's a conservative white male, or if it's a left wing white male, you sit there and then you let them say how they feel. But when it's a black man and he's saying, "Oh, you're race baiting, you're doing this, you're doing that," it's my opinion. It's my opinion. It's how I feel. I don't tell you. I don't knock the broom out of your hand when you at work or whatever your job is. And I have a career. This is my hobby. This is a hobby. This is not my career. I have a job. Okay, this to let you know. I don't sit at home on the mic all day. I have to go to work like everybody else. This is a hobby. But God bless you. Anyway, salute to Halo Pro. She say, "Here, take my blue state handout from my good job." Hey, listen, God bless you. God bless you for the $2. God bless you for the $2. All right, salute. Yeah, I'm only entertaining donations. All right, I'm only entertaining donations. Anybody else, you could yell from the bottomless pit. All right, let's continue though.
Dealers, gang members, and they're bringing them into the United States. And by the way, their crime rate is going down, and our crime rate is going to be a disaster.
Mr. President, I want to get into how you address.
Did anybody look it up? Venezuelan gangs in New York City. Did anybody look it up? Did anybody? Oh, nobody's looking it up. I've been looking. I've been looking in the chat. Did anybody look it up? Venezuelan gangs in New York City. Did anybody look it up? The young man in court said, I wish I could go on Google right now and play the clip. Young man from Venezuela, an immigrant. He went in court and told the people in the court that it's normal to shoot at police officers. That's what we do in our countries. He said that verbatim. And you're telling me, oh, you're lying. You're lying about immigrants in New York City. Did anybody look it up? I was looking in the chat. Nobody was saying nothing about it. Okay. Let's continue.
Some of the issues with black communities. And I say that plural because we live in communities of color that are different. We're not all the same. We don't vote the same. We don't think the same.
True.
It's not monolithic. So as you come here today, I want to talk about something that bursts. And this is the weight of the inflation on this country right now. The nonprofit Money Management International recently released data from its mid-year analysis that we have found a 52% rise in people.
Let me entertain this person, Professor Swagger Muffin. Salute to Professor Swagger Muffin. He says, facts: immigrants are less likely to commit crimes. I disagree. Immigrants do commit crimes, just like anybody else commit crimes. You know, like what are we talking about? Immigrants are less likely to commit crimes. Immigrants are committing crimes. That's not to say that every immigrant is committing crimes. I'm not saying that. I'm not sitting up here saying every person that comes to this country is criminal. That's not true. That's a misnomer. That's a falsity. But are we bringing in gang members? Yes, there's evidence. There's evidence to suggest that we are. Are we bringing in people that are bad individuals from these countries? Yes, there's evidence. There's substantiated evidence to suggest that. Yes. But am I saying that every person that comes here is a criminal? No, absolutely not. But the reality of America is everybody can't come here. We all can't go to China. We all can't go to Dubai. We all can't go to Russia. We all can't go to these countries. We all cannot come to America. That's not the reality. That's not reality. You know? Paul said, let me see what Paul talking about. Paul says basically, wait, it's my fault. Trump basically saying black jobs is unskilled work. Notice how he doesn't say immigrants are taking white jobs. Now, I'm going to be honest, Paul. I agree with you on this one. I'm going to agree with you on this one. I'm going to agree with you, Paul, on this one. You are right. He did not mention white jobs. I'm gonna have to absolutely give Paul credit on this one. He's right. He did not mention white jobs. Why didn't Trump mention white jobs? He said black jobs, Hispanic jobs. He never said white jobs. That was interesting. That he didn't say that. I have to give it to you on that one. I'll give it to you on that one. Let's continue though.
People who are seeking counseling for being in credit debt. They're paying for food that is sky high on their credit cards, and now they can't pay that off. The credit counseling nonprofit MMI, as I said, is saying now that they've seen surges that they haven't seen since we were in a pandemic of people in financial trouble. Much of that falls on the shoulders of single moms, single black moms, when you look statistically.
Yeah.
How do you turn it around? What's your plan for the black community when it comes to money?
So, first,
And let me just say this just real quick. I mean, let's be real, because, this election season, I want y'all to keep this in mind. This election season, everybody has their agenda or what they're trying to push, whether it's immigration, whether it's abortion, whether it's, whatever it is, whatever your issue is, right? But in reality, inflation affects all of us. The economy affects all of us. And if we're going to be honest here, let's just be honest. Let's take Trump out of it. Let's take Kamala Harris out of it. Let's talk about Biden in his last 3.5 years. Inflation is hurting all of our pockets. The price of groceries is up. The gas is up. The price of living, the cost of living is up. That's affecting all of our pockets. No matter where you lay or where you are on the side of the fence. Who's responsible for that? That would have to be Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. It happened underneath their watch. So if we're going to blame anybody about the economy, on the inflation, on the cost of living, we have to look at, Joe Biden. We have to look at Kamala Harris. They were at the wheel. They were steering the country when the inflation went out of hand. They are responsible. Let's continue, though. Let's continue.
first of all, it's very hard to hear you for whatever reason because of the fact that they have bad equipment. Because I guess, this one.
Oh, he's going in on equipment. He's still talking about the janky equipment that they got up there at the Black National Journal. He's going in on the equipment. All right, let's continue.
I wasn't able to get the right equipment, but it's very hard for me to hear you, but I can hear every other word. It's very difficult, actually. But so I don't know if they can fix it or do something with it, but I'll do the best I can with it. The inflation is absolutely destroying our middle class, our working class, virtually every class. Inflation is a disaster in our country. Inflation is a country buster. It breaks every country. And we had, in my opinion, the worst inflation we've had. They say it's 58 years, but I think it's much more than that. It's been devastating. And if you just take a look at a lot of things they don't include, like interest rates. Interest rates went from 2.4% to 10%, and you can't get the money. People can't buy houses. They no longer have the American dream.
Yeah, exactly. The American dream is over. People ain't buying houses. Buy a house. People can't even afford to rent. People have to make a choice. Should I pay my rent or should I buy groceries this week? They have to make that choice in this time period right now. And that happened underneath the watch of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. That happened underneath their watch. Should they not be held responsible? Should they not be held liable? Should we not be looking at them as a reason, as a cause for this inflation? There's young people coming of age that's in their 20s, early 30s that can't start a family. Can't buy a house, can't get married. I was in an Uber, hear me out. I was in an Uber 2 weeks ago, talking to a man. He's from another country. He's been here for 30 years. He's a naturalized citizen now. He's a legal citizen, or at least he told me. But the man is 41 years old. 41 years old, married, 3 kids. He lives at home with his mother. The American dream is gone, and it's affecting all of our pockets. That's the reality of the situation. Let's continue, though.
Young people, young black people, They don't have the American dream anymore. They can't buy a house. They can't borrow the money because
That's
of
a
the
fact.
cost of the money. They can't buy it because of the cost of housing, because of the cost to build it, because of inflation. Inflation is a disaster, and it's destroying our country, and it's destroying the black community probably as much or
So what do
more
you do?
than
And that's a fact. Let me say this as well, to Trump's defense, and just to let everybody know, off the rip, I am not a Trump supporter. I am not voting for Trump or Kamala Harris. I am an independent. I'm an independent. I will not be voting this election season. I think that these are both two of the worst candidates that either party could have selected. I will not be voting for neither one. But you guys have at it. But I will say this in Trump's defense. I will say this in Trump's defense. Hear me out. Did Trump blow up the national debt? He absolutely did. Did Trump do a lot of unnecessary spending? Absolutely did. But if we really gonna talk about it, Trump fed the streets. Trump fed the streets with the PPP loans, with the stimmies. He fed the streets. The streets was eating. The streets was eating. Joe Biden ain't letting nobody eat. Nobody eating with Joe Biden. Niggas ain't eating. I'm just keeping it real. The streets was eating when Trump was in office. I'm just keeping it a buck. I'm just keeping it a buck. This is not me endorsing. I'm just calling it like I call it. Let's just be honest here. Biden wasn't letting nobody eat on the strip. Trump fed the streets. All right? He fed people with the PPP, with the stimmies. He took care of the hood. Joe Biden, he's sending all your money to Israel, all your money to Ukraine. Every time Zelensky lands in America, he gets a $8 billion pack. Salute to Paul. Paul says foreign investors are driving up home prices. That's a fact. That's a fact. I agree with that. I agree with that. I agree with that. I agree with that. The housing market is bad right now. I was talking to a woman that she's been in the housing market, being a retailer. She's been in it for she said about 40 years. She said it's absolutely horrid. It's horrible. She had to leave. She had to leave. But the reality is Trump fed the streets. You know, he gave people the stimmies, he gave people the PPP loans. You know, and I look at it like this, right? This is how I look at it, right? This is how I look at Trump and how I look at Biden, right? In terms of spending. I look at it like this. Trump is like, let's look at Joe Biden and Trump like your son. Let's say both of these men were your sons, right? And let's say both of these men stole your credit card, right? Joe Biden is the type of son that steals your credit card. He takes your credit card. He spends thousands of dollars on his girlfriend. Big fancy dinners. He buys her expensive jewelry. Fine dresses. He buy her the red bottoms. He brought her the new Fashion Nova dress. He got her a Christian Dior bracelet. Expensive dinners at Benihana's and Ruth Chris. Fancy steakhouses. And then you look at the bill, you look at your credit card bill, and you look at Joe Biden, and it's like, are you absolutely, you spent all of this, you ain't spent nothing on yourself, you spent it all on your girlfriend, and you stole it from me. That's what Joe Biden is. He takes your credit card, he spends it all on his girlfriend. He spends all of the money on you. He's sending all this money to his girlfriend. He paying off her rent. He paying off her car note, all with your credit card. Trump, in his 4 years, I'm just going to keep it a buck. He did steal your credit card. He did raise your rates. He did put you in debt. But at least he spent some money on you. He wheeled in your favorite sports car to your house. That's what he did. He went out and brought you a nice little leather jacket. He went out and brought you a nice little gold watch. So yes, he stole your credit card. He raised your interest rates. He ballooned up your interest rates. But at least he did something for you. Joe Biden ain't giving you nothing. He ain't feeding the streets. Feed the streets. Feed the streets. Listen, man, I'm just saying how. Let's get back into it. Let's get back into it.
What's your plan?
You know what we have to do? We have to bring down the cost of energy, and that's going to bring down the cost of inflation. This was all started with a bad energy policy by Joe Biden. By the way, just if I might, I was running against a man named Biden. You probably saw that. And he was losing very badly in the polls. And then he had a rather bad debate. I would say it was a bad debate. I would say it was one of the worst debates in history. And his poll numbers crashed. And instead of saying, you know, let's keep going and maybe something happens the other way, they said, oh, we're going to replace him. Let's just replace him. That's like you're in a fight, a prize fighter's in a fight. He's not doing well. You say, let's bring in another fighter. So our whole campaign.
That's a fact. I agree. I mean, that definitely made the Democrats look weak, inequipped, non-prepared. It made them look bad. I agree with him. And I think it looks very weak on the Democrats' part that, you know, he had to debate Joe Biden. And Joe Biden, he got a lashing, he got a shellacking, if you will. And now he has to debate Kamala Harris? Joe Biden couldn't stay in the race. I wanted him to stay in the race. Everybody was telling Joe Biden, leave. You need to leave. I wanted him to stay. I really did. I wanted him to stay. Let's continue, though.
Was steered toward him, and now we have to steer toward him. But ultimately, it's the same because they have bad policy.
We got 400 people on the building. I need y'all to hit that like button. Hit that like button, y'all. Hit that like button. It's a thrill to be here with you, but hit that damn like button, all right?
And silence through the
hit that subscription button. Hit that like button. We in here tonight. We riding high. We are riding high tonight. Hit that like button. Hit that subscription button. Let's get into it. Let's get back into it.
They have policies of open borders, unbelievable open borders, horrible energy policies. They want to get rid of, as you say, gasoline in cars. They want to get rid of oil. They want to get rid of...
That's another thing we have to talk about. Can we talk about that for a little bit? America is not ready to switch over to electric cars. I understand, you know, listen, global warming is real. The planet is getting hotter. That's a fact. But we are not technologically advanced yet ready to switch over to electric cars. We're not prepared for it. We're not prepared for it in traveling. We're not prepared for it in stations that could, you know, energize these cars at a fast enough pace for, you know, transportation and stuff like that. We're not ready. We're not at a point in our country's technological advancements for us to have the electric car. Now, would it be a great idea? It's a great idea to help with the the global warming things that are happening in terms of our environment. But the reality is we're not ready. There's nothing like getting in a gas-powered car and just driving. You don't have to worry if the car needs to be, you need to plug your phone up to a charger, like a damn iPhone. It's nothing like just hopping in that car and just driving, going for long distances and driving, and only having to stop to get gas. You can't trade that for anything. But let's continue.
Efficient heating.
Mr. President.
Environmentally, what they're doing is killing our country. They're absolutely destroying our country. But the inflation is the thing that's hurting the black worker, the black population, and every other population within our country. Inflation is the worst it's been, I think, in over 100 years. And they'll fact check it. They'll say it's only 58. Whatever it may be, they don't add all the numbers. They don't add the really bad numbers, and you can check that too. But inflation, Harris, is absolutely destroying this.
And I agree with that. Inflation is hurting us. Inflation is absolutely hurting the middle class. Is hurting the black community. Absolutely is hurting us.
Country and the people in our country. Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
President, can I ask you another question
Yes,
that is also impacting black Americans?
And that's very clear now. Good.
I'm sorry?
It's very clear. I hear you.
Okay. So Sadia Massey, someone from Illinois.
Now, hold on. Hold on. She's about to ask Donald Trump about the Sonia Massey situation, and I'm guessing this has something to do with Trump wanting to give police officers federal immunity. Now, let me just say something about this. Now, I think that this is an absolutely great question that she's asking him. I think this is an absolutely great question that she is asking him this. I think that she's doing a service to the black community by asking him and putting this candidate on the hot seat. Absolutely great. Absolutely great. And I want to salute her for doing that. But why hasn't Kamala Harris addressed the Sonia Massey situation? She was just at a campaign rally in Atlanta, was she not? I listened to her little speech that she did. I didn't hear nothing about Sonia Massey. I didn't hear nothing to talk about. I want to do something for black women. I want to do something to protect black women. I want to put a bill in place. I want to do something as your president to protect black women from white supremacist officers. I did not hear that. So, I respect that they're putting Trump on the hot seat about this, issue right here. But why didn't Kamala Harris talk about this issue? Why didn't she ease the fears in the pain in a lot of these women's hearts, black women's hearts? Because she was in Atlanta, it's a sea of black women out there. Why didn't she talk to the black female populace on her campaign trail? She'd rather put Meg Thee Stallion in a G-string and have her shake her little doodle maker for votes, instead of talking about the issues that are plaguing the black community. But let's continue. I want to see what he says on this.
An unarmed black woman was shot the other day in her home by a deputy sheriff. The deputy has since been charged with murder. You've said police would get immunity from prosecution if you win. Why should someone like that officer have immunity, in your opinion?
Immunity?
Immunity.
I don't know the exact
That's a good question. Let's hear it.
case, but I saw something, and it didn't look good to me. It didn't look good to me. Are you talking with the water, right?
Yeah, well, police unions are not backing this person either.
Okay.
But again, why would...
They're going to be charging the officer. I guess they're charging the officer.
So why should he receive immunity?
Well, he might not. I mean, it depends. It depends on what happens. I'm talking about people that are much different cases than that. We need people to protect our...
See, I think that when people heard federal immunity, I think people got triggered. Like I think they thought like he meant like blanketed immunity, meaning they could do absolutely anything and not suffer the repercussions. I think he meant, immunity within the standings of, the police protocol. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not in favor of either one. I'm not in favor of blanketed federal immunity or federal immunity within the police protocol. I'm not for that. I don't want police officers to have federal immunity. The reality is there are some good police officers that follow the police guidebook, that do what's right. They want to be good officers. Then we have absolutely, scum bucket police officers. Like the officer that shot Sonia Massey. He had DUIs. He had a lengthy, terrible police record. Should have never had a badge in the first place. But, listen, they allowed this man to have a badge. But at the end of the day, I think a lot of people thought it was just blanketed federal immunity, when I think it was actually he meant immunity within police protocol. Let's continue.
And by the way, in Chicago, as an example, a few weeks ago, July 4th weekend, they had 117 shootings and 17 deaths. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. We need to have our police officers have the respect and dignity back. In this particular case, I saw something that didn't.
And I'm gonna say to what he's saying in terms of communities under siege with a lot of violence and stuff like that. Listen, I'm not in favor of police hammering the black community. We've seen what that looked like during the crack epidemic. I'm not in favor of the police hammering the black community over violence and stuff like that. We've seen what that looked like during the crack era. So I'm not in favor of that as well. I'm not in favor of, I'm not in favor of that.
It looked good to me. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
So can you get a little more specific back to the immunity question? Who would make those
right now, for the most part, people are protected by their unions, by their police unions, or by their police departments. But I'm saying if I felt, or if a group of people would feel that somebody was being unfairly prosecuted because the person did a good job maybe with crime, or made a mistake, an innocent mistake. There's a big difference between being a bad person and making an innocent mistake. But if somebody made an innocent mistake, I would want to help that person.
What would those exceptions be? What would determine an innocent mistake?
You go after somebody and it's a very close call and it's very dangerous. And they have, the policeman's life and woman is a very difficult thing, because sometimes you have less than a second to make a life and death decision. And sometimes very bad decisions are made. They're not made from an evil standpoint, but they're made from the standpoint of they made a mistake.
So I want to follow up really quickly. I find it interesting because you do talk about reining in.
He kind of fumbled that question. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. He kind of fumbled that question because, what police officer? All he had to say was, listen, officers that we feel are good officers, that are good, standing officers that we can tell just were making the best decision that they could have made. They have a quality record, a stellar record. They'd never been attached to nothing ridiculous. We feel that, we looked at the evidence of what happened in that case, and they did what was right. All he had to say was, in those particular cases, we're going to give officers federal immunity. He really didn't really get into the root. Who is qualified to have federal immunity and who's not? Who's to say? I think that certain officers, depending on what happened, and that's a very touchy. Depending, it really depends on what happened. If you're talking about like that Sonia Massey situation, that officer doesn't deserve federal immunity. That officer deserves to be in prison for the rest of his life. He needs to be, keeping milk cold in the toilet. busting trays, making license plates, and getting his pussy smashed in by Big Tyrone. That's what he deserves, you know? But, you know, if it's an officer that's a good officer that made a life and death decision, that was protecting someone, maybe protecting his fellow officers, maybe protecting someone that was in the room, or maybe a victim, those officers maybe should be allowed to have federal immunity. That's all he had to say. That's all he had to say. He kind of fumbled it. He kind of fumbled that question, but let's continue.
Prosecutors, especially when it comes to prosecutors that are prosecuting you. Why doesn't that skepticism apply to law enforcement?
Well, I've been prosecuted because I'm a political opponent of two people that have weaponized our justice system. I've been prosecuted.
That's a fact. That's another fact. Let's stop lying. Let's stop lying, everyone. A lot of you Kamala sexuals that's in here, I'm sure there's a couple in here. I've been encountering you for the last couple of days. You guys are absolutely annoying. You've been licking the boots of the political left for years. Donald Trump has absolutely been targeted. They have absolutely been weaponizing the justice system against him. That's a fact. That's a fact. Let's continue, though.
I just won the big case in Florida. Everyone said that was the biggest case. That was the most difficult case. And I just won it. Now, Biden has a similar case, except much worse. I was protected under the Presidential Records Act. Biden wasn't, because he wasn't president at the time. And he had 50 years worth of documents. And they ruled that he was incompetent, and therefore he shouldn't stand. He
was definitely incompetent. He was definitely an incompetent president. That's a fact. It's a fact here. Let's continue.
Trial. And I said, isn't that something? He's incompetent and he can't stand trial, and yet he can be president. Isn't that nice?
Mr. President,
but they released him on the basis that he was incompetent. They said he had no memory, and he was a nice old guy, but he had no memory, and therefore we're not going to prosecute him. I won the case, and it got very little publicity. I didn't notice ABC doing any publicity on it, George.
We covered you extensively, sir. I'd love to move over on to
I
different
didn't
topics
notice you
now.
do any
Yeah,
publicity.
they don't want to talk about his winnings. They don't want to talk about the cases he won. How they had to throw out that bogus charge. They don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about that. Let's gloss over that. They don't want to talk about that. All right.
Publicity on it at all. I won the case, the biggest case. This is an attack on a political opponent. I have another one where
Sir,
I have
if you
a
don't mind, I'd
hostile
love
judge.
we have you for a limited time, sir. I'd love to move on to different
No,
topics.
excuse
if
you.
we
You're the
can.
one that held me up for 35 minutes.
They had Donald Trump waiting. They had to start the interview on CP time. That's colored people time. They had him waiting for 35 minutes, man. I'm happy he's called it out. You got to call it out. You got to call it out. I'm sorry. You got to call it out.
Just so you understand.
If we can move on now to the state of the race, sir, I want to get back to the campaign. Senator J.D. Vance is your running mate. He's had a lot of controversy lately, and I want to read you a few things that he has said in the past.
Now we're going to get into J.D. Vance.
He said the Democrats running the country are a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices they've made.
I absolutely agree with that statement. I absolutely agree with that statement. The Democrats are a bunch of cat ladies. The Democrats are weak. They're shutting down the country every other week. LGBTQ barbecues on the White House front lawn. Can I get a wiener with my wiener on a bun? Wiener on top of the wiener at the LGBTQ barbecue White House front lawn. They got the Transformers showing the genetically modified boobs, the GMO boobs. Transformers at the White House barbecue. Optimus Prime, Decepticon, Bumblebee. They are. They're a bunch of woke imbeciles that can't run the country. And listen, I have my gripes with the conservative right as well. I have my gripes with the conservative right as well. But I'm just calling it how it is, man. The Democrats don't know what the hell they doing. They've been running this country into a ground. You got a female presidential candidate using pronouns. What are we doing? Woman, this is for all the marbles. This is for the presidency of the United States, and you over here using pronouns. I am Kamala Harris. I am she, her. Are you serious, woman? Are you serious? This is what the options are in terms of leadership. This is what we're faced with in terms of leadership. This is who y'all want to put in the presidential seat. A woman that's using pronouns. This is who you want to run the United States of America. A woman using pronouns. Are you serious? This is where we at.
So they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. He's not talking here about how great it is to be a parent. He's attacking what he says are the choices people are making to not have children. Did you know that he had these views about people who do not have children before you picked him to be your running mate? And do you agree with him?
No, I know this. He is very family oriented, and he thinks family is a great thing. That doesn't mean he thinks that if you don't have a family, it's not. I know people with families. I know people with great families. I know people with very troubled families. And I also know people with no families. They didn't meet the right person. Things happen. You go through life, you don't meet the right person.
But he's not just talking about families here. He also says that people that don't have children should get less votes than those that do.
I'm just speaking for myself.
Is that your campaign
I think
position?
I'm speaking for him, too. He strongly believes in family. But I know people with great families. I know people with not great families that don't have a family. And the people without the family are far better. They're superior in many cases, okay? He's not saying they're not. What he's saying is that he thinks
maybe he's just championing, the nuclear family. Maybe he's just championing the nuclear family. I don't necessarily have that much of an issue if he's championing the nuclear family and, just, kicking the backs in of the political left. I'm not necessarily mad at what he said. I mean,
family experience is a very important thing. It's a very good thing. But that doesn't mean that if you grow up and you grow older and you don't meet somebody that would be wonderful to meet and would have been good, that's a bad thing. He's not saying that. My interpretation, you'll have to ask him.
One second here. Salute to Y. Salute to Y Killer. Salute to Y Killer. Salute to Y Killer. Y Killer with the $5 donation. He says, the people you need to watch out for are the people who act like they aren't racist, but are, like Joe Biden. I absolutely 1000% agree with you, Y Killer. The worst kind of racism, let me talk to that. The worst kind of racism is covert racism. Let me tell you why covert racism is the worst kind of racism. At least when racism is face to face, when it's in your face and it's not under the radar, at least you know where you stand with that person. If someone is telling you face to face that they don't like you, they don't rock with you, yada, 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 listen, at least you know where you stand with that person. You understand that you are enemies. You understand you can't knock on his door for a cup of sugar. You understand that you shouldn't let your children play on his yard. You understand that you have to watch out for this person. You understand that this person is not a friend of yours. What the Democrats try to do is try to make it seem like, yo, guys, we're your friends. We're for the black community. We want to help the black community. We want to do this. We want to do that. But in reality, it's coverted racism. You've been sitting on the dreams and the hopes and the agendas of black people for over 50 years, the Democratic left. You've been working against us. You've been getting in that office. You've been allowing that black community's infrastructure to dwindle and to absolutely crumble at the feet. You haven't been putting any money in the black community. You haven't been helping. You haven't been doing and putting in and placing any bills that's going to protect black citizens. You are an enemy to the black community. So, I mean, let's just be honest with you. I'd rather a racist that's going to tell me I don't like you, I don't rock with you, and this is where we stand. Instead of that person, you knock on your door, right? You knock on the other person's door, and they say, "Come on, then. Yeah, come on, bring your children in. Come on, then. Hey, you guys got somewhere to sleep. You can sleep in my house tonight." You can sleep, and then all the while, every time they go to the kitchen, they cook you a meal. Every time they go to the kitchen, they spitting in your food. They put a little bit of poison in your tea. You know, they beating on your. Every time you let your children stay in there. You let your children stay in that house. Every time you go walk off somewhere, they beating on your children. That's what the Democratic left is to black people. They are coverted racists that have not helped black people, that are not working for the dreams and the aspirations for black people. Somebody sent me a 99-cent donation. Wow, really? Salute. Let's continue. Let's get back into this.
Actually, but my interpretation is he's strongly family-oriented, but that doesn't mean if you don't have a family, there's something wrong with it.
Just one last point, and then we'll move on. Just one of the bedrock principles of American life is one person, one vote. Senator J.D. Vance has suggested that someone who has children should have more votes than a person who does not have children. I just want to be clear here. Is that the position of your campaign?
Well, no, but it's not something I have ever heard before. I can tell you this. Right now you have illegal aliens coming.
I've never heard him say that as well. I'm not saying he hasn't said that. But to me, it sounds like he's just championing the nuclear family. And why is that a bad thing? All of the women in this country that are single and depressed, all of the single mothers that are struggling to make ends meet, all of the men where corn addiction has absolutely destroyed their lives and destroyed their social skills. Why is the nuclear family a negative thing? Or to me, it sounds like J.D. Vance is championing the nuclear family, supporting the nuclear family. He's just saying that the nuclear family deserves a higher regard of vote. I agree with that. I don't have a problem with that. I think the nuclear family is something that the American culture and society needs to get back to. We need to get back to the nuclear family. Our country was a little bit stronger when the nuclear family was more championed. Now we got all this, all these different agendas. Whether it's the Rainbow Lucky Charms agenda, whether it's the feminist agenda, that's absolutely detrimental to the nuclear family that was, that were strong, that had the country strong. Let's continue, though.
Into our country, many from prisons and many from mental institutions, and they want to give them votes. I don't think they should have votes. They came into our country illegally, and they're taking the vote away from all of the people in this room that have been here a long time, that have worked.
But the Democrats want to change that. They're not going to talk about that. The Democrats want to give the illegal immigrants the right to vote. They're not going to talk about that. They want to give immigrants the right to vote.
Hard that in many cases, and you'll see this happening, if I'm not elected, you're going to see it happen. If I am, you're not going to have any problem. But you're going to see it happening a long time. You're going to see the people in this room and people outside of this room are going to be losing their jobs to people that have come into this country illegally.
Mr. President, can we stay with just kind of the state of the race right now? Because I felt like that vice president question, candidate question was right in there with that. So let's talk about J.D. Vance for a little bit. He's had some stumbles out of the gate. I don't know if you're hearing what we hear as reporters, but we're
gonna go more deep into J.D. Vance here.
It's been a tough couple of weeks for him. Why did you choose J.D. Vance?
Why
did you choose him? And I'm having a hard time hearing too. I know everybody out there can, but it's hard to hear.
I'll tell you why. I chose him because he's.
Well, we got a donation. Salute to the donor here. $20 donor. Salute to Chance. $20 donation. Salute to you, sir. Salute to you, sir. Salute. $20 donation from Chance. Salute, sir. Thank you for sponsoring this war. Let's get back into it, man.
A very strong believer in work and the working man and woman, and especially the working man and woman who have been treated very unfairly, because you have many of them in this room, but you have many of those people, they were treated very unfairly. They worked very hard and they were treated unfairly. He wrote the book that became a bestseller. The movie became a smash hit. He's a very smart guy without the benefit of having a family that has contacts, like a father that was well connected. He got into Yale Law School. He graduated in 2 years from Ohio State, summa cum laude. I mean, you take a look at, his career has been an amazing career. He started off at a level with a difficult family situation, very difficult with the mother and the father. I can understand.
We're just going off the rails with J.D. Vance.
He lives
here.
in Ohio, and he had my endorsement. That helped. But he wins the Senate. He becomes a United States Senator. So he's a United States Senator. And so, Harris, like I respect you for your success, I respect people for their success.
The reason I asked the question is because the last time you and I sat and talked was the day that you were shot. We'd been together for much of that day. You left to go to Butler, Pennsylvania, and we didn't know what was next.
Oh, Sinclair's in the building. Hey, what's up, Sinclair? I didn't see you in there. What's up, Sinclair? Salute to Sinclair. My mod is in the building. Salute to Sinclair. I ain't see her in there. Salute. Salute to Sinclair.
Next.
Yeah.
And 2 days after that,
I cannot understand your microphone.
I know
so
it is really hard for me.
Yeah. What's going on with these mics? They started on CP Tom. You got the same mics they used to use on Rap City The Basement on BET. What is going on with these with the mic situation? And don't say it's just Trump, because even one of the panelists said, "Yeah, I'm having an issue hearing you as well." So it's not just Donald Trump. They got this old janky equipment set up at the Black National Association for Journalists. What is happening here? What is going on here? Let's continue.
I can understand you perfectly.
Because she's closer.
I can understand you.
I'm happy to hear that, sir.
But I can't
really
understand, Harris.
I have a few more questions.
Because of the distance, and the mics are really in lousy shape, but I cannot understand what you're saying.
So what I wanted to say was, the last time we spoke, you said some words that were prophetic, because I asked you who you wanted to choose for vice president.
Yeah.
And you said normally it really wouldn't matter what they would bring. You choose somebody that you think.
I think Donald Trump should have chose Hulk Hogan to be his vice president. I think Donald Trump should have chose Hulk Hogan to be his running mate. Can you imagine? That would have been hilarious. That should have been his running mate. That should have been his running mate. And I know he's a racist. He's an absolute. Both of them are racist. Come on, let's be real here. Trump is 70. He's a 76-year-old white man. He's a racist. Let's be real. Let's be real here. So was Hulk Hogan. But I just thought that would have been funny though if they both would have. If that would have been a Trump Hogan ticket. That would have been something funny to see. Let's continue though.
He has a future, that sort of thing. But you said these words 3.5 hours before an attempted assassination on your life. You told me.
Ooh, somebody said Elon Musk. That would have been interesting. Elon Musk. I think Elon Musk wants to give everybody a computer chip in their brain, though. I'm not rocking with that.
That bad things happen here. And that's why this decision is important this time. Bad things happen. You said it twice.
People are saying he's 78. 76, 78, tomato. He's old as dirt, all right? Be real here. Donald Trump went to high school with John D. Rockefeller. Let's be real here. Come on, man. He's old as dirt, all right? Let's get back to the video.
You look at J.D. Vance. Is he ready on day one?
Does he what?
Ready on day one, if he has to be.
I've always had great respect for him, and for the other candidates too. But I will say this, and I think this is well documented. Historically, the vice president, in terms of the election, does not have any impact. I mean, virtually no impact. You have 2 or 3 days where there's a lot of commotion as to who, like you're having it on the Democrat side, who it's going to be. And then that dies down, and it's all about the presidential pick. Virtually never has it mattered. Maybe Lyndon Johnson mattered for different reasons of what we're talking about, not for vote reasons, but for political reasons, other political reasons. But historically, the choice of a vice president makes no difference. You vote.
Who do you guys think he should have selected? I seen Elon Musk. I said Hulk Hogan. Who do y'all think? Do y'all think J.D. Vance is a right fit for Trump? Who are you? Who did you want to see him with? Did somebody say Tim Scott? Did somebody say Tim Scott? Oh my gosh. I think I seen somebody say Tim Scott. Oh man, let's continue.
The president, and you can have a vice president who's outstanding in every way. And
somebody said Tucker Carlson. I seen Ben Carson. Okay. That's some bad choices, I guess.
I think that all of them would have been, but
John Cena.
Voting that way, you're voting for the president. You're voting for me. If you like
RFK,
me,
no, that wasn't going to
happen.
happen.
If you don't like me, I'm not going to win.
I'm going to get my J.D. Vance question in.
J.D. Vance?
I'm going to get my J.D. Vance question in. To your point and to Rachel's point, he, has a lot of opinions.
We got 300 people in the building. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Hit that subscription button right now.
What a thrill.
It's a thrill to be here with you, but hit that like button,
With darkness and silence through the night.
A lot of y'all in the darkness right now. I want you to hit that like button. Hit that like button. Put some respect on the like button, all right? We out here.
Searching and I'll melt into you.
A lot of y'all are searching for the like button. Hit that like button right now. Hit that subscription button right now. Let's get back into it.
Opinions about childless women like myself or divorced people like yourself. Do you think, my point
at
is
least
here.
it was said in a friendly manner.
My point is,
Yeah, because they've been real hostile, Democratic, liberal, left-wing, bootlicking attack dogs for this whole interview. I mean, that was probably the first time she asked a question in a human way. This whole interview, but let's continue.
do you think the Republican Party is getting a little bit too judgy about people's lives when you think about abortion or when you think about what J.D. Vance is saying?
I don't think, look, I think that the Democrat Party is really the one that has the problem. I think they're radical on abortion because they're allowing
Absolutely.
abortion in the 9th month. They're allowing the
But I
death.
think it's
They're
about
allowing
freedom,
the death
right?
of a baby after the baby is born, based on.
Yeah. We have to call out the the left wing liberal. We have to call the Democrats out about abortion. We have to call that out. No, we have to call that. They're the ones that are radicalized. They're the ones trying to yank the baby out the woman's womb after 9 or 10 months. They're the ones that thought it was a good idea to put a Planned Parenthood in every black community. That was the Democrats' bright idea. Let's put a Planned Parenthood in every black community. See, it goes to what I said about covert racism. Covert racism. Whose idea was it to put a Planned Parenthood in every black community? Whose idea was that? Mostly in Democratic-run cities as well, is it not? Covert racism. Let's continue.
Sir, that's
Governor
illegal
of Virginia,
in every state in the country.
Based on the governor of Virginia,
Executing a
they're
baby in
allowing the
every
death
state
of
in
the
the country
baby
is illegal.
after it's born.
It's a
They're
crime.
allowing abortions in the 8th and 9th month.
Well,
of
Democrats
pregnancy.
have denied
I think they're right.
that.
And I think the Republican Party is actually much less. I think I've made them much less radical, perhaps. But the Republican Party, what we're doing is bringing it back to the states where everybody wanted it. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservative. Everybody.
Somebody said it too.
Abortion.
Somebody said, yeah, they're deleting black babies. It's horrible. That's absolutely what the Democrats are doing. That's what they have been placing in our communities. The Democrats have been placing Planned Parenthoods in black communities, deleting black babies. Hold them accountable. They are responsible for that.
Brought back. They didn't want Roe v. Wade in the federal government. They wanted it. Everybody
But the
wanted
majority
it
of
back.
Americans oppose
Excuse
Roe
me.
v. Wade being
They
overturned.
don't
Multiple
know
polls have
about
showed that,
this.
sir.
Right now, they're voting. It brought it back to the states. Now, I happen to believe in the 3 exceptions. Ronald Reagan believed with rape, incest, life of the mother. I do. I think most people do. I think most Republicans do also. But if you take a look, right now they're doing, it's an amazing thing. Out of the federal government, it's in states, and people are voting. And I will say, Ohio is, let's call it a more liberal version, has been approved. Kansas, the same thing. A little bit surprising to a lot of people, but the people are down.
I agree with the obsessions to the rule. In case of those, I don't want to mention those scenarios again, but in those cases, maybe that woman may need that type of assistance in terms of that. But we gotta stop allowing that to be, if you are a consenting woman and you laid down on your back and you gave your body up to another consenting adult, and this is not your brother, you're not a victim of, some type of sex crime. You need to take responsibility. If you were 2 consenting adults, you need to take responsibility. Nobody told you to lay on your back. Nobody told you to bend over and take those back shots. Nobody told you to sleep with that bum ass nigga. You know he didn't have a job. Take responsibility. Take accountability.
Now voting, and it's taking this issue that's been going on for 52 years and has torn our country apart, and it's giving it to the people to vote on, and they're voting. And many states have already voted. Others are in the process of voting, and it's bringing it back to the people and a vote of the people. and it's not at all radical. And again, you have to follow your heart. I happen to believe in the 3 exceptions. Most people believe in the 3 exceptions. Most Republicans believe in the exceptions. But they don't want to see an abortion in the 9th month or the 8th month. Almost everybody agrees to that.
Absolutely. That's horrible. That's a horrible. But I believe that's what the Democrats want. The Democrats don't care. The Democrats are about lawlessness. Lawlessness. You know? Let's continue.
And they certainly don't want to see, in the case of the governor of Virginia, the former governor, I might add, who said, we set the baby aside and then we decide what to do. Meaning, what do? We execute the baby. That's a radical, horrible position. And some people want that. I don't want it. Most people don't.
Thank you. Can I just pivot really quickly to another question about, you brought up health, Harris. You're an active man. We see you golfing all the time. But if you win, you'll still be president at 82, which is older than Biden is right now.
But not mentally. Look, mentally.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
He's shot.
That's a fact. That's a shot, but that's a fact. That's a fact. That is a fact.
But most people.
Would you consider?
Most people. I know many people in their 80s and their 90s that are in great shape. Some of our greatest leaders. You look at throughout the world history, the greatest leaders, some of the greatest leaders in the world were in their 80s.
But here's the question. Would you consider stepping down if you felt that your health was declining? Or would you?
Oh, absolutely.
And who would make,
I think I'd know.
How would you make that decision?
I think I'd know. Look, if I came onto a stage like this and I got treated so rudely as this woman treated me.
Oh, my goodness.
Let's go.
And I'm fine with it because she was very rude, sir. Very rude. That was a.
He's right. He's right. She came up there with that sister girl attitude, that liberal bootlicking attack dog attitude. He picked up on it. Trying to get those liberal butter biscuits. Joe Biden approved from Jim Crow Joe. He picked up on the energy. He's not lying. She came up there very hostile off the rip. Like everybody, the other panelists, they've been chill. They've been, they've been respectful. That the first one, she was very hostile off the rip. Very hostile.
Nasty. That wasn't a question. She didn't ask me a question. She gave a statement. That wasn't a question.
I repeated your statement, sir, actually.
You said you would. You would.
Oh,
make that
absolutely.
decision
If I
to step
thought
down.
that I was failing in some way, I want people to be sharp. I'll go a step further. I want anybody running for president to take an aptitude test, to take a cognitive test. I think it's a great idea. And I took 2 of them and I aced them. I took 2 of them. But let me ask. I would like to have people running for president, and I don't mean because they're 75 or 85. I think anybody running, I'd like to do it. People say it's not constitutional. I would like to have something passed where you can do it. I think we should know. I mean, I've watched what's happened in the last couple of years under this gentleman, and our country is a mess. We have inflation. We have the millions of people falling in. We have Afghanistan, which was the worst, most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. What he has done to our country, and her too, what they've done to our country, she has been a horrible vice president. She's considered the worst vice president in the history of our country.
Mr. President.
He ain't lying. He ain't lying. And I'm not a Trump supporter, but he ain't lying. They've been doing a bad job running this country. That's a fact. That's a fact.
But would you consider taking the cognitive test?
Mr. President.
I would love to
and
do
make
it.
it public.
Well, I've already taken 2 of them, but I'll do it again.
Mr. President, how do you intend to...
I suggested, Harris, that let's take one. I said, Joe and I will go and take a cognitive test. Now, I'd do it with her, too. I would do it with her also. You know what? She failed her law exam. She didn't pass her law exam, so maybe she wouldn't pass the cognitive test.
Mr. President,
Shots.
She wouldn't pass. Just to be clear,
I'm just giving you the facts.
to be clear, you don't think Harris?
how do you intend?
She
And
didn't
look,
pass her bar.
They're all three trying to ask questions. Like he could like let him take one question. Y'all all can't ask questions at the same time. Get one question out of the way. Next woman, ask a question. Next woman, ask a question. Y'all all three asking him questions at the same time. What are y'all doing? They got cooked. I'm gonna be honest with you. They got cooked. They got cooked. They thought that they was gonna really have him off his kilter, have him stumbling and bumbling. He kind of cooked them. He kind of cooked them this whole Trump. If there's one thing about Trump, he knows how to control a room. He knows how to control a room, and he knows how to read a room. Salute to the person that says holes for Harris. Somebody said holes for Harris. Yeah, but Trump knows how to read a room, and he knows how to control a room. He knows how to do it. Like, so he picked up on the energy from Sister Girl, political left-wing bootlicking, attack dog, Sister Girl, her Sister Girl attitude. He picked up on it. He called it out right away, which he should have. You got to.
And she didn't think she would pass it, and she didn't think she was going to ever pass it. And I don't know what happened. Maybe she passed it.
She did pass it.
There's a man over here. I think he must work.
Mr. President, I would love to ask you.
I think she's a friend of Kamala Harris. Cause she can't. Nobody. The other two women, they don't have this hostile attitude. This real defensive, liberal bootlicking, attack dog attitude. It's only coming from this one woman here. Sister Girl.
About January 6th. You've called yourself the candidate of law and order. Yeah. When Time Magazine asked you if you would consider pardoning all the rioters, you said, yes, absolutely. Sure. You called them patriots. 140 police officers were assaulted that day. Their injuries included broken bones, at least one officer lost an eye, one had 2 cracked ribs, 2 smashed spinal discs, another had a stroke. Were the people who assaulted those 140 officers, including those I just mentioned, patriots who deserve pardons?
Well, let me bring it back to modern day. Like about 5 days ago, we had an attack on the Capitol, a horrible attack on the Capitol. You saw the people that were protesting and spraying these incredible monuments, bells, lions, all these magnificent limestone and granite with red paint, red spray paint, that will never actually come off, especially in the limestone. It will never, I'm a builder, I know about this stuff. It'll never, you'll see it in 100 years from now. They viciously attacked our government. They fought with police. They fought with them much more openly than I saw on January 6th. What's going to happen to those people? What's going to happen to the people in Portland that destroyed that city?
But sir, my question is on those.
What's going to happen to the people that tried to burn?
My question is on those rioters who assaulted officers.
You have to.
Nah, he's kind of deflecting. I ain't gonna lie. He's kind of deflecting. I'm gonna be honest. He's deflecting. Gotta call it. I gotta call it how I see it. He is deflecting. He's deflecting. He is deflecting. He should have just said, should have said some of them were patriots. Some of them did break the law. Just keep it a buck, man. Some of them broke the law. Some of them were patriots. Say, clean it up. Don't shun all of them, but just let it be known. Yeah, some of them were out of control. That's all he had to say.
Would you pardon
What's
those
going to
people?
happen? Oh, absolutely, I would.
You would pardon those?
If they're innocent, I would pardon them.
They've been convicted.
And by the way, the Supreme Court they were convicted by a very tough system. How come the people that tried to burn down Minneapolis, how come the people that took over a large percentage of Seattle, how come nothing happened to them? How come the people
But sir, we're talking about people that were seen beating officers with flagpoles, dragging them down the stairs. They're on video. Have you seen that video, sir?
Oh, really? Well,
you would pardon those rioters?
They shot a young lady in the face who was protesting. They shot her in the face. Nobody died that day. You do know that. But people died in Seattle. Nobody died, but people died in
140
Minneapolis.
officers
Do you know
were
people died in
assaulted that
Minneapolis?
day.
And nothing happens, and nobody ever talks, and nothing happens to those people. But you went after the J6 people with a vengeance. And
The J6 people? I've never heard that. I've never heard that terminology or that slang. The J6. Have y'all ever heard that before? I've never heard anyone refer to January 6th as the J6. The J6 people. Have y'all ever heard that type of terminology? That's the first I've ever heard it. The J6. That's interesting. Sounds like a Motown group. The J6. It's like the Jackson 5. It's like the Jackson 5, but with one more member. The J6. I never heard that before.
What about the cops that were, and I'm all for the police, as you know, but what about the police that are ushering everybody into the Capitol? Go in, go in, go in. What about that? Look, nothing is perfect in life, but you have people from Minneapolis, you have people just from 5 days ago in Washington, D.C., they were having fistfights and fighting with the police. They were spraying and destroying. They were desecrating our monuments in Washington, D.C. 5 days ago, and nothing happened to them. And you can't have two systems of justice. That's why they went after me as a political opponent, because they felt they couldn't win without doing that. And we're going to win our cases, and we're going to be vindicated. But I have to spend a lot of time on that and money. That's what they want. After the election, they won't care. Although in my case, I think they probably will, because the hatred is pretty deep. But I'll tell you, they went after me as a political opponent. That's never happened in our country before, and it sets a terrible, terrible precedent.
What do you do on day one if you win? What's your first thing?
What do? I close the border. And I do two things, because I can do a lot of things simultaneously. I close the border. We don't want
He's winning over some black female, some black people in the audience. A few people clapping. A few people riding with him. You know.
People coming in. We want people to come in, Harris, but they have to be vetted. They have to be checked. They have to come in legally. We want people. I want people to come into our country, but they have to be vetted. They have to be checked. So when you say, what do I do? That, and I drill, baby, drill. I bring energy way down. I bring interest rates down. I bring inflation way down, so people can buy bacon again, so people can buy a ham sandwich again.
Whoa, so people could buy a ham sandwich again. Oh nah, he tripping. He wildin'. All this is over a damn ham sandwich? Stop it. Trump, you running this whole candidacy for a damn ham sandwich? This nigga want a spam. He want a damn baconator. What's wrong with this white man? This nigga over here talking about the price of bacon. All this over a ham sandwich. This white man wildin'. Oh my goodness.
Can go to a restaurant and afford it, because right now people can't buy food. Your grocery bills are up 40, 50, 60%, right? She's agreeing to me. Oh, she's agreeing. Thank you. I like you very much.
Mr. President, I think we are.
But it's true. Your grocery bills are up, and then they're mandating that you buy an all-electric car. You know, Elon Musk endorsed me, and he's a friend of mine. He's a good guy. He's a smart guy. But I'm against everybody having an electric car, okay? I'm very much against that. You have to be able to, if you want a hybrid or if you want a gasoline-propelled car. But, you know, we have more liquid gold, gasoline, oil, under our feet than any other country. More than Saudi Arabia, more than Russia, more than any other country. I want to use it. I want to use what we have. I want to bring down prices, bring down costs. And I also have to stop the invasion. And remember, they're taking your jobs. These people coming in, are taking your job.
Project
Mr. Pres-
2025.
I think we have to leave it there by the
okay.
Trump team.
All right.
So
Oh,
we'll
they
leave it,
didn't-
we'll leave, that is the last
They
word.
didn't want to ask him about Project 2025. Or they didn't get a chance to ask him about it. I don't know what that was about. I mean, that whole Project 2025 it's all just a left-wing political scare tactic. The Democrats, they deal in scare tactics. They don't deal in actually working on agendas and doing the work. They work in scare tactics. So that whole Project 2025 thing, it doesn't move me.
Thank you so much, Mr. Trump, for coming today and joining us.
Well, thank you very much.
They've been telling us.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, very much. Great
Thank
honor.
you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
NEBJ will email about details regarding the conversation with Vice President Kamala Harris in September. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
So what do y'all think, man? What did y'all take out of what he said? What did y'all take out of it? What did y'all take out of it? I already told you guys my stance. I'm not voting for neither one. I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm not a bareback Kamala Harris supporter. I'm not supporting neither one. So I'm not supporting neither one. I have issues with both of them. I have my stance on both of them. Neither one will get my vote. But where do you guys stand? I see we got a lot of Trump supporters in here. You know, salute to y'all. You know? Supporting your man Dennis the Menace. I respect it. Got a couple Kamala sexuals in the building. Kamala sexuals, or should I call you she her? I'm gonna refer to the Kamala sexuals as she her. You know? But that's where we at, that's where we at. I'm gonna leave it there. We're gonna do more discussions on this. We're going to talk more in depth about this situation. Election 2024, it's happening. The Democratic National Convention is in a month or so, is it not? Or maybe a few weeks, is it not? The National Convention is coming up. It's time to make that choice. Some of you are on the fence. You don't know if you're leaning left or you're leaning right. Maybe you're leaning to the side, this afternoon. This morning, The choice is now. Are you going to vote for felon Trump or are you going to vote for Kamala Bareback Harris? The time is now. The time is now. The time is now. Make your choice. Make your vote be heard. And in terms of, just said that, and, and let me just say this, before we get out of here, I have my issues with the political left, but don't take my issues with the political left and think that it's somehow in a way supporting the conservative right wing, right? I don't support the conservative right wing either. Was at one point, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm going to be honest. I like to be honest on the mic. Yes, I was a registered Republican at one point in my life. Yes, I was. I am no longer a registered Republican. But I am in no way supporting the conservative right wing. My issue with the liberals, the Democratic left. My issue is black people have been voting for the Democratic left for over 50 years. And the Democratic left has been sitting on the wishes, the hopes, the dreams, the agendas, the incentives of the black community. Every time the black people, the black, you know, the communities, the black neighborhoods, all the time when they come together collectively to a candidate and they ask them, can you help the community? Can you help us with a hate crime bill? Can you help us with a reparations bill? Can you help us with the infrastructures in our community? Can you fix our school systems? You know what we hear?
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
That's what we hear. We've heard that from Obama.
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
We've heard it from Joe Biden.
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
We've heard it from Bill Clinton.
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
And we clearly are now hearing it from Kamala Bareback Harris.
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
Let me just play that a few more times.
I'm not going to sit I'm not going to sit I'm not going to 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 I'm not I'm not I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No. Fire! Fire! Fire!
Fire! Somebody said the Kamala cackle. What are you cackling about, Kamala Harris? You cackling cow. What are you cackling about? Always cackling. What's so funny, Kamala Harris? Is it the price of our groceries? Is it the cost of living? Is it the rent going up? What's so funny? Is it the price of gas? Is it the economy crumbling? What's so funny, Kamala Harris? What are you cackling about? You know? Somebody said 100% a Trumper in disguise. That's an absolute falsity. I'm not a Trump supporter. Maybe you're just so butthurt. Maybe you're just a political left-wing bootlicker. You know? I literally put in the chat, felon Trump. I literally called him Dennis the Menace. I literally talked about why I wasn't going to support him because he supports federal immunity for officers. I literally said that he was a racist. I called him a racist on this stream. But you have been licking the boots of the political left for so long that if you hear anything that is not in total agreement with the political left, you call somebody a Trumper. You call somebody, you know, a COON. You call somebody a race baiter. Anytime somebody voices their opinion on the political left and the mistakes and the errors and the things that they have done wrong, that all of the black people that have supported them and they have sit on the wishes and the wants and the agendas of black people for so many years, but you have an issue with it. Maybe you're just a political left-wing bootlicker. Maybe that's just what it is. Maybe it's not the fact you think that I'm a Trump supporter. I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm not supporting Trump. I will not be supporting Trump. You have not ever heard me on this stream say I'm supporting him. I'm not supporting him. You know? I'm not supporting him in no fashion or no way. You just like to lick the boots. And listen, if you like to lick the boots, that's your thing, you know? You want to lick the boots of, you know, AOC and, you know, Joe Biden. You want to lick the crust between his toes. That's your thing. That's not my thing. I'm not licking the boots of the political left. I'm not licking the boots of the conservative rights. If you ask me, they're all a bunch of crooks. Everybody in the White House, everybody in Congress, all of them, everybody in our government, they're a bunch of crooks. But with that being said, this is the check-in report. I am true and living. Hope you guys have been entertained as well as enlightened. We're gonna do more shows like this. We're gonna do more political shows. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Like this video. We're gonna do more content like this. We're gonna feed the streets. We're gonna talk about Kamala Harris. We're gonna talk more about Donald, aka Dennis the Menace, Donald J. Trump. And we're gonna, listen, election season is in a few months, November. I cannot wait for the Democratic National Convention. I cannot wait. I think I'm gonna pencil it in on my calendar. I cannot wait for the DNC. I can't wait. Because if you think the Kamala Harris rally in Atlanta was something, woo, man, they might have Sexy Red at the Democratic National Convention. Get it sexy, get it sexy, get it sexy. They might have Sexy Red popping that thing on the Democratic National Convention. They might have Glorilla come out. F-O-F-E-F, nigga, freak up, deep up. They might have Glorilla come out. They're gonna have Kodak Black come out. He gonna be on stage. He gonna be no, actually no, not Kodak Black. He rock with Trump. Who else they gonna have? They're gonna have all the female rappers. You might have Ice Spice. Ice Spice gonna be on stage twerking for the Democratic left. She gonna have that thing poking out. Shit, I might be up in there throwing ones, throw some ones up in the Democratic National Convention. Throw them ones. I mean, y'all saw what Meg was on. Y'all saw what Meg was on. Meg was in there. She was acting like she was in Magic City, twerking that thing. They're going to have Ice Spice, Glorilla, Lotto. They're going to have all of them in there. They're going to be twerking, throwing ones, stripper poles in the DNC. It's going to be lit. I can't wait. They might have AOC. AOC might pop up with a G-string shaking that thing. I want to see that. I want to see that. Shaking that thing. Twerking it to the left, twerking it to the right. It's about to be lit at the DNC, man. Kamala Harris might slide down the pole. I don't know. I'm just joking. I don't know if that's gonna happen. I'm just joking. I don't know. I have no idea what's that. I wouldn't be surprised though. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some rappers at the Democratic National Convention though. And I won't be surprised if there's a performance or two from a rapper twerking. I mean, if Meg Thee Stallion came out there and was twerking, I won't be surprised if she goes to the Democratic National Convention and twerks as well. I won't be surprised to see Ice Spice and Sexy Red there. I won't be surprised, I will not be surprised. But with that being said, guys, listen. Hope you guys have been entertained as well as enlightened. This is the Check-In Report. I want to salute to Sinclair. Salute to Sinclair. Salute to all my mods. Salute to all my mods that was in the building tonight. Salute to everybody that came in. Salute to all the donors. Salute to everybody that donated tonight. Salute to you. All the donors. Salute to all the donors. All the people that donated to the machine. Thank you guys for supporting the show. God willing, I'm gonna do a show tomorrow. Another stream tomorrow. We're gonna do more shows. We're gonna talk about more things. We're gonna lay this thing out. The election season is at hand. The Democratic National Convention is coming up soon. There's going to be more Kamala Harris rallies with people popping that thing, popping that coochie on a handstand. We're gonna see it. We're gonna see it. But with that being said, you guys have a good night, man. We are out of here. Y'all guys have a good night, man. Stay blessed. Toodles.
What a thrill, with darkness and silence through the night. What a thrill. I'm searching and I'll melt into you.